Hey, everybody. It was 1985 when my father took my brother and I to the Kings Plaza Mall in Brooklyn, New York. There, in the Barnes & Noble bookstore, located on the upper level of the mall at the time, Mary Lou Retton was making a personal appearance to autograph copies of her new book. Even though we didn't ultimately buy the book that she was peddling, we were able to say hello to her. She was very nice, very pleasant. And I had taken my allowance along with me, and I wound up buying a different book. The book was called Hammer of the Gods, the Led Zeppelin Saga. It was written by a journalist named Stephen Davis, and it really turned me on to Led Zeppelin. I hadn't heard a note of their music up until I bought the book, and I found it very fascinating. Behind the scenes look at one of the greatest rock bands of all time. So I figured, well, now I have to listen to the music. And I started getting their albums from the library, and I ultimately bought them in cassette form, later in CD form. What I like about Led Zeppelin is that they're a very dynamic band. They could play very hard, they could play very soft, and everything in between. My favorite song to listen to by Led Zeppelin, if I had to choose just one song to listen to by them over and over, would be Achilles' Last Stand, which appeared off their album Presence. That's one of their harder songs, but many Led Zeppelin fans consider it to be the greatest drum part John Bonzo Bonham ever played in the band. And I tend to agree with him, being a former drummer myself. My favorite album, though, if I were to listen to any one Led Zeppelin album in my collection over and over again, well, the complete album listening experience to me from the band is Led Zeppelin 3. Led Zeppelin 3 was not as popular as Led Zeppelin or Led Zeppelin 2 when it was first released because it did not quite rock as hard as those first two albums did. But that's what I like about them because you can listen to the first side of the album and you can hear Immigrant Song, you can hear Out of the Tiles, or even Since I've Been Loving You, which is like kind of like a blues ballad. Those songs are pretty heavy. And then you turn over the album and you hear this folk music. The same band is playing unplugged, as the younger people will call it, or acoustic. And it really is a fascinating listening experience to me, Led Zeppelin 3. So, if you want to get into listening to the band, I would say the first three albums are a good start. You should listen to all the albums. They recorded a total of 9 albums of original music. But the first 3 are a good start, and the third one is my favorite one out of all of them. So I hope I gave you some food for thought for your ears, and hope you have a good listening experience if you decide to listen to Led Zeppelin, because they're my favorite band, and they might even become yours. All right, have a great day. I'll see you soon.